back at it again, and I've got some more good news. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button if you are new, and let's dive in.
Should you choose to run again, there are conversations about how much that will impact things. There's one outlet that has said it's driven up your disapproval numbers to the point that you're one of the most unpopular senators in America. Not sure how that factors into you.
Well, I don't think that's quite accurate.
I think you're very likable. whether people want to go vote for you in West Virginia, still, we got to have that conversation.
Nah, I like him. I think he's real likable. You know, I think he's fantastic. You know, I think he does some absolutely great work. You know, and yeah, I'll let him finish speaking.
Virginia are seeing all of the rewards from that piece of legislation with the new investments coming. We have Berkshire Hathaway coming in. We have basically Forum Energy. We're going to be building battery storage at 1,000 megawatts, things that we've never had a diversification. Plus, we're producing more coal than we ever have, better and cleaner anywhere in the world. We're producing, basically with MVP, 2 billion cubic feet more will go into the pipeline, helping the people in the Northeast. Everything that we're doing, and basically this bill is a balanced bill that's given us opportunities we have never had before.
Okay.
Well, so people just have, basically, people have been demonizing it. But when my own Republican colleagues come out and say, this is a balanced piece of legislation that is good for America, they've said that in their brief, and they won. They won in courts.
So we'll see whether you take this to the West Virginia voters or whether you take it to a third-party run. We've had these conversations. Here's what former Obama campaign manager Jim Messina said this week, talking about these third-party runs.
You and I remember in 2000 in Florida where Ralph Nader gave the presidency to George Bush. So Democrats have that history, and they're going to understand that a vote for these third parties is a vote for Donald Trump, I hope.
You've said you will not do this as a spoiler. That is not the goal that you have.
I think Jim really forgot that basically it was Ross Perot that elected Bill Clinton. So if he wants to look at it that way, the evaluation, why not have options? People aren't satisfied right now. Why not have options?
A lot of people like you as an option. And you've said once.
Yeah. Let's have some options, baby. Let's have some options. You know? We can have Trump, Manchin, RFK Jr., I can't remember the guy's name now. I'm drawing a blank. Crap. I can't think of his name. And of course, Joe Biden. You know, let's have all the options in the world and let's duke it out politically, of course, not literally, not physically. Okay, I just want to make that clear before anybody twists my words. All right. Let's have at it. Let's have I like Joe Manchin, you know? I think he's a good candidate, you know? Hey, 2024 Joe Manchin, baby. I can't even keep a straight face. Oh, man. Joe Manchin, we cheering you on, brother. We're cheering you on. For those that didn't catch it, I'm being sarcastic here, of course. I feel like I didn't really need to say that, or it's probably safe that I did say that so that y'all weren't like, what the? Bro, this guy's lost his mind. I'm being a little sarcastic, okay? For those that didn't get the joke. I would love for Joe Manchin to run. I would love for RFK Jr. to run. I would love for the other guy to run as well. I can't think of his name. I'm drawing a blank. You guys know who I'm talking about. The black gentleman. Anyway. And of course, Joe Biden. Why? I think we all know why.
You make a decision, a target will be on your back, so you're waiting till the right time. But the fact is the calendar is now going to start working against you. What is the timeline? Do you have any announcements to make this morning?
Not this morning. Okay. But let me just say this. I'll do it. I'm more concerned about the country right now. What you've seen, the theatrics that played out yesterday and up until yesterday, it's ridiculous.
But could a President Manchin fix that?
Well, the bottom line is you have to work in a bipartisan way. Democracy is still an experiment. It was never intended for an autocracy or one side to rule. You have to work together. Kevin McCarthy, I praise Kevin McCarthy for what he did yesterday. He finally realized you can't reason with unreasonable people, with the extremes. I hope the people where these people are represented, I hope their constituents finally say enough is enough. We want people that at least keep our government running and moving in the right direction. We can do that. And I think, yes, I can bring it together. That's all I've ever done. But there's other people, not just me. There's a lot of people that are basically in the center left, center right That's how it's worked. And you saw that happen yesterday to move forward, to keep the country, to
I
keep
know
the
you
government
don't see
open.
President Trump in that place. Do you see President Biden in that place?
Well, he used to be.
So if you don't think either one of them are there, are you the alternative?
Well, we're hoping maybe they'll come back to rationale thinking that, hey, it doesn't work pushing everything to the extremes. This country does not run on the fringes. It never has. And it can't start now. So they're either going to come back or we're going to bring it back.
What's your timeline?
Well, I said before the end of the year, I will. We're still plenty. I mean, if something what you're saying would happen, there is no primaries. You just go right into the foray.
But West Virginia seems well underway, at least on the GOP side.
Yeah, it's exciting to watch. I mean, it's very entertaining as far as me watching and these people. I know everybody, so we'll see what happens there. The people don't look at me as that's Joe Manchin, the Democrat, or that's so-and-so, the Republican. They never. It's just Joe Manchin. He's going to be very independent in how he's always voted for 40-some years representing the people of West Virginia. And I've done everything I can in my power to make sure that they've got the best representation they can in a balanced way.
Okay.
I've said this, Shannon, if I can go home and explain it, I can vote for it. If I can't explain it to my friends and colleagues in West Virginia, I can't vote for it. You can put a gun to my head. I'm not going to vote for it.
We won't do that.
I know.
But we will pressure you to come back and give us an answer before the end of the year.
Happy to do that.
Senator, thank you.
And we will pressure you to run. So it seems as if we may be getting another gift here in the form of Joe Manchin, possibly making a run for the White House as an independent. Now, I think this benefits us in multiple ways, but also I think it benefits the country as well in a broader perspective, right? One, in the short term, it almost guarantees Trump wins. Because not only do you have Joe Manchin, but you have RFK Jr., and I can't think of the other guy's name. But then of course you got Joe Biden. All vying for basically the same group of votes. Of course, you might have some Republicans that peel off and might go the Joe Manchin or RFK Jr. route, but I think Trump's floor, right, for votes is pretty darn high, and it's not moving. He has a very high floor. Biden doesn't really have that floor, so he can lose a lot to these folks, and obviously it guarantees a win for Trump, in my humble opinion. So I think it's great in that way, but then also in a broader perspective, I think it's great for our country as well. Skip the whole Trump winning thing, but I think having these options, right? Having this vast number of options, I think is great. I think it's fantastic because it really breaks down the two-party system. These are the only two choices you have. For example, if we had, I don't know, Mike Pence versus Joe Biden. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want either one. Those are two terrible choices. But typically, those are really the only choices that we have. But if you have something where now more and more people are starting to say, you know what? I don't completely agree with them. They've gone way too far left. I feel like I might slightly lean this way, but I don't agree with everything over here. I'm kind of sitting in the middle. I don't know. I think that'll be beneficial for this country as a whole, especially in today's times where, people are so polarized on either side, mostly the left, if we're just being honest. But you got to be honest, there are some far right folks, which aren't the MAGA folks, which I've never understood that. No, I guess I do understand it. It's a tactic to try to demonize MAGA, right? Calling MAGA far right extremists. I don't consider MAGA far right extremists. I just think MAGA are real Republicans. Now, of course, you do have some far right folks, but they aren't MAGA folks. And they're far less than people on the left, because at this point in time, if you're not far left, then you're not in the party. So it's either far left or you're dead center in the middle, or you're MAGA or you're far right extremists. MAGA, I feel like, are closer to the middle, right? Like there's some things that I think a lot of, Republicans, true Republicans, not rhinos, would say, yeah, I can compromise on this a little bit here. I feel like MAGA's reasonable on a lot of things, Whereas the left, it's like, no, you're an extremist, you're this, you're that, you're a terrible person, if you don't completely agree with everything that it is that they have to say or do, which is just absolutely and positively nuts. But yeah, I think having these options will be great. I think it'll be a fantastic thing, and it'll really open things up, I feel, in this country for better people to run, right? Who wants Joe? You kidding me? You kidding me? Like, who wants that? Nobody. So, yeah. That's just my humble opinion on it. Y'all let me know in the comment section. Like I said, I think there's two benefits to, people like Joe Manchin, RFK Jr., and the likes, running, obviously. Short term, Trump gets a W. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, which we absolutely love to see and to hear. But then also, it just gives the American people in future elections more and more options because, the more you see it, in my humble opinion, in my mind, the more you see stuff like this where you have multiple people trying to run as an independent that literally have a shot at garnering some votes. I feel like Joe Manchin has a shot at garnering some votes, especially for the independents that are kind of in the middle there. Obviously, in every poll, I think one of the polls that I saw that had Trump winning, there was like a 17% independent group that was like undecided, right? I feel like Joe Manchin or RFK Jr. or the other guy could really garner a significant amount of votes and even pull some from the Democrat Party and actually do some decent numbers, right? So it's not super insignificant. It's significant enough to where other people who would consider themselves more independent may start to think like, maybe an independent does really have a shot at winning, and maybe in 2028, an independent has a shot at winning. Because at this point in time, at least on the Republican side, Ron DeSantis is a no. For me personally, right? This is just my personal opinion. I know people will disagree, and that's fine, right? That's totally fine. But Vivek, he's got a lot of questions, and I showed you guys a video yesterday on the questions with Vivek. Don't see Tim Scott as a guy. Nikki Haley, nope, not at all. Definitely not Mike Pence. So like, who's left? Maybe Larry Elder, but I don't see him as being popular enough to really get that W there. I mean, maybe he turns things around. I like Larry Elder. Who else? Mark Robinson, Byron Donalds, maybe. I guess. I guess there are some folks that I think could pull off a W on the Republican side, but do they want to make that run? That's the real question as well. So, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions in the comment section below. Peace and love. I'm out.